Ginger. Yes, yes, yes. So, good morning. Good morning. Yep.
There you
How's?
There
There we
go.
go.
There's that sound.
Just, you know how we all need a moment sometimes to come into ourselves? Microphone's the same way. And, you know, for us to remember also that what we call inanimate objects are actually animate objects. So if we talk to them and we're gentle with them and we encourage them to join us, they often do a much better job, just like us, right? So, you know, the golden rule, right? Treat everything the way you'd like to be treated. Welcome everyone this morning. I would like to be welcomed, and so I am welcoming you. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here today, for being part of this community, for supporting the people you're here supporting, and supporting CCL. So, hi everyone on Zoom over there, and we don't have an extra camera, so you can't see all these beautiful people, but they were waving to you. So welcome everyone on Zoom. You're very much a part of us. Thank you very much. And I am going to let Reverend Paul take over this next moment.
So welcome everybody. We've got practitioners around the Zoom and around the room holding the high watch. So I know you've heard this before, but it's a gentle reminder. We want to let go of everything that is not this service right here, right now, and be present to this moment right here, knowing that this is the activity of God. So we can let go, let all of the worry, doubts, limitations go, and be present to this moment right here, right now. Because in this moment, life is really wonderful. Right here, right now. So, if you will repeat after me, I open my heart to the universe, accepting love and peace.
I open my heart to the universe,
accepting love and peace.
I open my heart to the universe, accepting love and joy.
I open my
Open
heart
my
to
heart
the
to the universe,
accepting love
accepting
and
love
joy.
and
I
joy.
open my heart to the universe, accepting complete health.
My heart
Open
to
my
the
heart to the
universe,
universe, accepting complete health.
And so it is.
And so it
So
is.
it is.
So it is. And just reminding also everyone on Zoom, we can sort of hear you sometimes, so if you unmute and speak into this room, you'll even be able to hear me. All right. So thank you everyone, blessings, welcome, and I will do the invitation. So allowing yourself to really settle into this space and the holiness that you are and the space is as one together. That we are as we are here this morning. Owning this particular time, this particular moment. We let anything in the past go away and anything in the future float away. We just find ourselves in this blessed presence with one another in this beautiful community that we are all currently gathered. We are all creating this together, virtual, in person, and all that is within us in the field that we are bringing in from all other communities and all other ways of life. Those are people who are just thinking about us this morning, are bringing love to us. And so we open this vessel we call ourself, and we choose to extend our energy as far and as deeply into this space, knowing that this service here today, this presence, is changing you. It is gifting you. It is giving itself to you. And the more and more we allow that to happen, more and more we are receiving the gifts of our holy oneness with one another and with the whole galaxy's universal expanded space of love. So our prayer this morning is that we allow this presence, this source energy, this love, this field, this infinite possibility, infinite creativity to flow through and as us. Enjoy the blessing of this moment and of this day. And breathing in, I invite you to say yes. And breathing out into this moment. We bless this holiness, that is this service, blessing all other holy spaces, knowing that all is held in the divine heart of one loving presence. And so it is.
Listen as your day unfolds, challenge what the future holds. Try to keep your head up to the sky. Lovers, they may cause you tears. Go ahead, release your fears. Stand up and be counted, don't be ashamed to cry. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know, love will save the day. Hear what your mother said, read the books your father read. Try to solve the puzzles in your own sweet time. Some may have more cash than you, others take a different view. My, oh my, yeah. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know, love will save the day. Time asks no questions, it goes on without you, leaving you behind if you at the pace. The world keeps on spinning, you can't stop if you try to. The best part is danger staring you in the face. Whoa. Remember, listen as your day unfolds. Challenge what the future holds. Try to keep your head up to the sky. Others, they may cause you tears. Go ahead, release your fears. My, oh my, yeah. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know, love will save the day. All I know, love will save the day.
Thank you, Ginger. Absolutely beautiful. Let's give her some rocking hand waves, some claps. Really beautiful. Thank you. Such amazing messaging already this morning, right? We don't really even probably need a sermon. We just make sure you're squeezing the juice out of everything that's coming by right now, right? So on that note, we're doing something slightly different for the reading this morning. Jason Ramirez, will you join me? I had invited Jason to do a reading, and then I told him, oh, you find it. And he didn't find a reading that he liked, so he wrote something for us. So, yeah, so he wrote something for us. So this is wild content. And so enjoy the content, let yourself listen. You can have fun with it. You might not agree, you might agree, it doesn't matter. Just enjoy the content, be present to it, and this beautiful man's self-expression comes forward.
Okay, hello everyone. So I don't think it's that wild, but we'll see. But like she said, so they asked me to find something about love, and I was, happy to just search the internet and read passages and poems about love, and they were all beautiful and they made me feel really good. And then I just decided to sit and feel what it was to me, what love meant to me, and I just closed my eyes and listened and just put whatever came, and this is what came through. So this is really about self-love. I looked in the mirror. I pressed my face all the way against it until I could see the nothingness in the darkest part of my pupil. Who am I? I, pupil, a forever student, it seems like we are all just here to learn something, but it's as if nobody is actually 100% sure. Well, we do know death is certain. Death must be love. Imagine that, releasing from all the cares of the world, loosing yourself of all the judgments, the character, the responsibilities. Love kind of feels like that. Like when nothing else exists but the aroma of this very moment. The moment when you see the light in the darkness of another student. When it flickers from their lens at just the right angle, enough to catch your attention, and you lock eyes long enough only to see yourself staring back at you. That's what I think love is. A mirror image of utter acceptance. A cozy spot in the center of a star, wrapped in a song. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. That was inspired and a blessing. And this is what we're growing here is the idea that we are all in the leadership of this community and in our learning and growing. And that each of us step into whatever is for us to step into in our own power in each moment. And so the welcoming to each person in this community is, what is it for you that you want to be, give, have, love, grow, nurture, blossom, so that this is your home. This is your place where you feel lifted and cared for and loved and seen and heard. And again, thank you, Jason, for that inspiring reading this morning from your heart. And now it is time for us to do our affirmations. You know what, would you just stand up for the fun of it this morning? There's something nice about getting our bodies moving a little. We'll stop short of the hokey pokey, but we'll go here. Maybe another day we'll go to the hokey pokey. Okay, so I think what I'd like to do is call and response. So we'll say it, then you say it. Zoom, please unmute so you can be heard if you talk loud enough and see what happens. We are one in the power of love. We are one. I stand in the awareness of my wholeness in the infinite field of love.
I stand in the awareness of my wholeness in the infinite field of love.
I trust and know that I am sustained, fulfilled, and abundantly blessed in this love.
I trust and know that I am sustained, fulfilled, and abundantly blessed in this love.
We got you, Zoom. You came a little behind us, so we heard you. Thank you so much. All right, and then we will give Ginger a chance to sing with us again. So maybe you want to just stand up and sway during this song.
So the chorus on this is love, what a reflection. Love is a natural fact. that's all you want to sing.
Your heart is like a rubber band. When you give, it expands, and you might reach the stars depending on how flexible you are. This life is like an ocean where everyone is floating. If you wanna reach the beach, you got to start kicking your feet. Here comes your love for a reflection. Love is a natural fact. Oh, every bit you create, you get back. Love for a reflection. Love is a natural fact. Oh, love, every bit you create, you get back. Your mind is like a flower bed, and whatever you feed your head determines all your fate. Whether you blossom or you suffocate. Ooh, peace is like a pattern where every angle matters. How you choose to see determines your functionality. Love, what a reflection. Love is a natural fact. Oh, love, every bit you create, you get back. Love, what a reflection. Love is a natural fact. Oh, every bit you create, you get back.
All right, thank you.
Everything you create.
Back. What a concept.
Good morning again, everyone. It is such a pleasure to be here physically in form with you, having the opportunity to feel into this space what we're making as our community and our home and our blessing in the world. This place, can you feel it? Can you feel it? Everything you give, you're getting back already. It's right here. And it's really, we've been talking about presence today, right? And Jason's images of going straight into the mirror to see his pupil. And then also the idea that when you look into someone's eyes, you can see yourself reflected, right? These are all really powerful experiences we have when we can meet here in person and bring ourselves into the moment. So over the last couple of days, I've been extremely well reminded of the opportunity that we have in life to become, and it's a funny word, so listen for the meaning and maybe not for your first reaction to it, disciples. And I've been thinking this, and then I came in this morning and Will walked up to me and said something about disciples. And then I was like, oh, there it is again. So here we are. Because what I really am talking about is spiritual discipline. We're disciples when we choose to have the discipline that it takes to stay on this path. The invitation to release and release and release and release whatever hallucination our brain is making up about the current, past, or future that might be happening. And current, I mean, we make it up so fast, we don't even know we're making it up, right? You know, people have written books, whole careers are made around this one idea that we can step away from the story. Byron Katie is probably the most famous person who has taken 4 questions to deconstruct our stories in any moment. And I myself was lucky, I myself was lucky enough to work with her one time where she deconstructed a whole pattern that was keeping me in sort of a trauma relationship with someone, and they weren't even in my life anymore. Has that ever happened? Every time you think of the person, or you get an email with their name in it, or you see a sign that has their name, like their name was John, and then it says John Hancock, and all you can do is like react every time you see John Hancock now. So there's a way in which we have to take responsibility for deconstructing what gets constructed, which is outside our awareness. So we have automatic responses to things. We have automatic stories that we've heard our whole life that we buy into, belief systems, structures of knowing, all this stuff that we say inside ourselves, this is the way it is. And we have to remember that this is not the way it is. The way it is constantly changing. Just look now at the world, remember 3 years ago, and see if any of this would have made any sense. No, because, well, besides the deepest level, but on the surface level, we would never understood. We would never have the opportunity to wear a mask or not wear a mask. Like I was on the plane yesterday and someone was coughing. And I'm like, yeah, I just said, may I have a mask? Because I didn't have one, and I put it on. There's so many more opportunities to play in the space when you feel the enjoyment of being present to what's happening right now, rather than be in something that happened in the past or in the future, right? So today, I am here with you. My daughter, who formally in our culture we will call my stepdaughter, is in the birthing process with her first child. And she's still in the birth process with her child. And I do not really know exactly what's happening right now. And so I had the opportunity, just when I was getting on the plane yesterday, to receive some information about what was happening, and then have to turn my phone off. And then I found, oh, they have Wi-Fi, and I could message. So no, my phone didn't want to do that. It did not. I tried it 6 times. It was absolutely refusing to do that. Turn my phone on, close your eyes. It was an 1.5-hour flight. And I want to tell you something else that's really funny. Delta Airlines gave me a first class ticket. I do not travel first class. I would love to. Thank you. And yes, anytime, universe, anytime. But I got a first class ticket for that flight that I was managing whatever was going on in my storyland about what was happening with my daughter. So I had to sit in this really wide seat with this very nice man next to me and look out my very nice window and close my eyes and bless and bless and bless myself for all the stories, and bless the place for all the stories, and bless. And, you know, they couldn't serve anybody else on the plane because it was a very bumpy flight. But you know what? In first class, they managed to serve you anyway. It's so curious. So I just had a little bit of the view of this wider field that's always been behind the curtain, so to speak, right? So all of my maybe ideas about what was going to happen, all my ideas, all the things I thought I wanted and needed, like texting during my flight, and all out the window, no possibility. And maybe not out the window, thankfully, because on the airplane that would be dangerous, but out of my space, yeah, that's okay. But just out of my space, there was nothing I could do. So the work, the discipleship, right? This is right where it happens, right in the moment when we have something going on. Right here, right now, who are we going to be? Who are we going to choose to be? Which voice do we listen to? One of my teachers says, you know, the voice of God never talks in an angry, crabby, insulting voice. Have you noticed that? That's your voice, or that's somebody else in your life. That's not God. God talks to you like this. Come on. Think about it. Maybe you could take a breath. Maybe this would be a good time to take a breath. Would this be a good time to take a breath? Let's take a breath. And it's not to say that, and I'm sort of joking about God speaks, because we know there's no separation, we know that it's all one, but sometimes it's fun to play the separation of God speaks and I listen, because the truth is something speaks. Something that is outside our awareness gets our attention when we're listening to the wrong thing and says, you know, you could try something else. Sometimes it comes in the form of another person who says, hey, would you like to just sit down and meditate with me or pray with me? Would you like to bless this space with me? So this morning, don't you know it? Right before the service, my daughter's doula checked in. Want to talk? No, I can't. So I grabbed my best buddy, Reverend Paul. We went into the kitchen. I'm like, remember. This is a constant dance, isn't it? Think of something, one thing. Think of one thing in your life that pulls you out of your knowing that all is well. What is that one thing you let yourself? Is it money? Is it time? What is it? Is it relationship? What is the one thing that you let? Now, we all know there's millions of things, but there usually is one that gets us the most. For me, it would be my children, right? Or my family, my loved one, people. When I hear things about people, that's the one where I let myself get caught more quickly. So our discipleship is to the continuous opening to the space. And we use this word so much, it's so hard to keep saying it, love. But what we're talking about is a field of consciousness that Jason was bringing forward in his speaking, that Ginger was bringing forward in her music, that the words of other artists bring through us sometimes, and that sometimes just speak to us clearly right through when we can calm down, when we can release our stories, when we can let them go. This is not an easy process because our stories have adrenaline attached to them, right? Do you ever feel how fast your body starts shaking when you think something's going to happen? Yeah. So we have to move that out of our bodies. That's not a joke. We have to shake it off because it is now, in quote unquote, infected us, right? We're now like infected with adrenaline. And that doesn't lead us to the source of loving that lifts us and guides us and gives us this breath that we exist in that is holy, that is empty and full, that is everything. This field that we call love dissolves everything that's in it, except it. We say there are only two things. One is love and one is the call to love. But really they're one because the call to love calls love. So if we're in a place where we are calling love, receive it. Ask for it to be delivered to you. Look for the places in your world where love is trying to make its way in and open the door. We know that the spiritual journey is one of release. We may read a ton of books, we may do all sorts of things, but as you know, as you prepare your spiritual self, as you prepare to look at the world through the lens of love and kindness and compassion and care, everything else falls away. Everything dissolves. There's no more angst about these things. And this is what is so beautiful about your discipleship. No longer do we have to follow a man around in a robe. And I don't mean that as gendered like man, woman. I just mean that in the past, in our history, 2,000 years ago, we needed someone to walk through the streets with us to remind us over and over and over to remember the good. Because in the form of Jesus, he carried it in his body. In the form of Buddha, it was carried in the body. It is carried in the body of all of us. And when we harmonize, when we see our discipleship as just the fact that we're alive, as we turn our spiritual intention and attention to the fact that we have within us everything that we need to live in a field of love. Nothing we can give outside of that helps. When we step outside that field of love and start doing from another place, If we bring our brain in to solve a problem first, we are usually going to get in a little bit of trouble. Because almost always your first thing, if you bring your brain in first, is going to bring your ego in with it. I can solve this. I know what to do. Okay, and I need a lot of credit for doing it, right? I wrote in on my white horse. I am Joan of Arc. I am whatever it is. I need a lot of credit for this. And what we're saying right here and now is your discipleship is so beautiful because it's only within you. It's not only, I mean, it is within you in a way that you can be with it all day, every day, and all night, every night. It is a choice. And this is the beauty of the spiritual lens, is that when we, when you go to the ophthalmologist and they play with your eyes and they do all these things and they make you see perfectly, it's like that. When you step into this field that we call love, everything dissolves that is not it. And we want that. That heals, that gifts, that gives, that changes. We step aside and allow the discipleship of our focused attention to open the field and release us to be able to carry that word, carry that message through ourselves. We need this precisely when it's hardest to grab it. Have you ever noticed that? It's kind of easy some days to go and do a little prayer with some friends, a little meditation, and feel like you're all set for the day. Here's the thing I noticed this week. If we don't prepare ourselves for the day, if we don't set ourselves up to win by reminding ourselves that things are not going to go our way all day, if we don't calm ourselves and live into this field of love in the morning, possibly, again at night, possibly, or randomly through the day, the Muslims, very smart. They pray 5 times a day, whether you like it or not, right? Just down on your knees. When I grew up there, so when I saw this, it's really astonishing to really see that the call to prayer goes out in the neighborhoods and everyone prays. It's totally inconvenient, I guarantee you. People get out of cabs, people go right to it. And in Saudi Arabia is where I've seen it the most, where people actually literally stop what they're doing. It is an amazing practice because it interrupts the daily living that we think is so important, and it reminds you to go back to your discipleship, not to something outside yourself, but to a field of energy that you exist in, that is the truth of all of us together. We exist as one in this field of energy that is powerful and positive and life-giving and affirming no matter what is going on. And the only way for us to get through every day in this world is to live as if that, or if to live that comes first. Always first, always inner. Standing in the space of this powerful, loving energy, we can handle anything. We're in the season for nonviolence right now, and both of our beginning and end dates of the season for nonviolence are the memorials of the assassinations of Gandhi and Martin Luther King. And the story of Gandhi's death is that in the place of his leaving was simply the words on his lips, Ram, 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 which was his mantra, which means God. So the circumstances of life came into him, and all he did was do what was next, which was die into God, much as Jason spoke this morning, is death love. So Martin Luther King, you don't have such clarity about what happened with him. But the idea here is the invitation of gentleness to your practice, continuousness to your practice. discipleship to the spiritual life. You don't have to live in a monastery. As a matter of fact, it's been proven it's much harder to live in regular life. So bring your practice with you. Enjoy the loving that floods in and takes you over, dissolves all the worry, doubt, and pain that is going on in any situation, relieving all the stories of what is the worst thing I can think of that could happen. The choice you're making is to live in a very drama-filled life that has as its best gift a lot of energy and story and lots to talk about in the falling apart and the not working out of life. Or we can take the energy and invite ourselves, not easy, this is not easy, into seeing everything in our life as a call to love. How can I love even more deeply today? Myself, all, and every bit of the galaxies and everything that we call this universe, the earth, the sky, the animals, and us. The relief that we feel in our bodies. So I ask you right now, take the one thing that jumps into your head, the one thing that keeps you from thinking this is all good, this is all love, this is all life. What is the one thing on your mind right this second? Take this beautiful deep breath into yourself and choose the breath of life. The first breath you take when you come out of the womb, that first empowered thing you do is take a breath. And so we invite the breath to fill you as your first nourishment, carrying with you the memory of the field of love from which we all came, from which we all live, and where we exist into eternity. Take the breath of love. Release whatever story, hard, dangerous, dark, doubt, worry, pain, illness, and know that no matter what is happening, you are walking with the eternal, loving energy of a universe that loves you. This is an opportunity for you to bless the world, to give your discipleship to this moment means that you will give it to the field, to others, and you will be an invitation. This is how we change the world. We are human and divine. We feel the great breath of the great universe as it flows through us. Here is a congregation right here and now today. As a group of people, we are congregating in love, in discipleship to the holy power of sharing this passionate beingness of love that dissipates the energy of anything else and gives us back freedom, blessings and choice, grace, creativity, power. Let that fill you. Let that be you. Let that love you in this instant, knowing that this instant is all there is. And knowing ourselves as this, in this beautiful community we call CCL, we know the truth for all other beings, for everywhere, all over this planet, all over the universe, all the way to the outer reaches of this field, whatever that might be. We are in harmony with what is, ever evolving, sustaining, coherent universe that is always moving towards love. We hold this truth for all beings, for all people, for all atoms, quarks, wavelengths and particles, knowing we all beat in the same harmony with the same universe, exponentially expanding this field of love. We are so grateful to be those that are remembering this, that are knowing this, that are blessing the world with each step we take, with the empowerment that we have from this place of knowing the entire one whole field moves with us as we move, speaks with us as we speak, laughs, cries, sings, uplifts all with us as we confirm our discipleship and bless the world from this place. And we say together, and so it is. Amen.
Revolution, lift the veil up from the grand illusion. I think first it's gonna take a revelation, shift our minds unconsciously, awaken to the positivity human beings should be. Full of love and light and inner peace. Vibrate to a higher frequency, higher,
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So I wanted to just take a second to thank everyone here today who has contributed to this service. In your awareness, if you contributed to this service at all, would you stand up? Everybody who feels like they've contributed to this service today. So just take a peek around. And these are people who are stepping into contributing with their gifts of service, and they're showing up for setting up your altar and all these beautiful things. And this is our community. I would love you after church at fellowship time, which someone brought us some homemade cookies for today. Aaron, Tim, thank you very much. If you would all go up to each other and say thank you for your community. From your community and to each other, thank you for bringing and caring for us this way. Thank you. And now I want to ask everyone who's here in person to stand up, to recognize your contribution. First of all, it might not just be today, it might be every single other time, but you being here is a contribution to this community's life force. And seeing each other and showing up for each other. And Zoom, I don't even know what would happen if we turned that camera around. I'm terrified because my husband might kill me. But Zoom, everyone who shows up there and cares for themselves, loves themselves, and shows up here. Hello, everyone. But actually, my back is to the camera now, so I'm talking to the wrong people. But so what I really want. What I want each of you to know is your contribution is felt whether you're aware of it or not. So please be in the awareness of your contribution. Every smile, every look in the eye, every heartbeat, and every breath you take gives to this community. So please thank yourself for being here and doing that. And then for all the other stuff that you do that we so appreciate. So, we'll have a moment for all who are new to do a thing in a minute. When we do that, I want everybody to stand up in your new awareness of all of the contribution that you are, so we can throw this back and forth and have some fun with it. All right. So in the meantime, everyone just say thank you. Thank you for caring for our community. For caring for our community. I love you. Now you can sit down. Thank you very much. Now we're going to do our offering. So this is the time for us to bring our financial gifts forward. If you would join me, I guess you're going to join me. We're going to look at these two guys. Aren't they great? John and Jason, thank you so much for joining us here this morning. And you want to join me? Come on. It's me and the guys today. Okay. Arlene is getting a well-deserved weekend off. Can we give her a yay? Yeah.
You all join me for a blessing of our offering. Thank you, God, for this abundance that is mine to share. I bless this gift and give it to thee.
Now, and as I give,
I do receive.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Thank you.
So giving thanks for the abundance that flows to this congregation. Giving thanks for the abundance that flows to CCL. Giving thanks for the divine overflow that comes to us all, that we open up to fill our cup, to fill our bank accounts, knowing that God is the source of that and does it abundantly and joyfully and in the givingness of spirit. Giving thanks for this congregation and their commitment to this CCL, this entity, this beingness, this consciousness. Giving thanks for the love that is here and all of the time, tide, and talent that is palpable here and flows to this beautiful community. And together we say, and so it is.
Thank you, everyone.
Reverend Katherine alluded to it. Do we have anybody here? First, I want to acknowledge anybody that's here for the first time. Anybody here for the first time? Would you stand if you were here for the first time? Woo-hoo! I know it takes something. Thank you for doing it. So this blessing is mainly for you, but it's also for all of us. Okay. It's so if you will join me and repeat after me, you'll put your hands up and bless this beautiful expression of God and each other and Zoom. Welcome to the Center for Conscious Living. We are a heart-centered spiritual community.
We are a heart-centered spiritual community.
We open ourselves to you in love. We recognize the perfection of God within you. We celebrate the joyous being that you are. You are a radiant point of light. We are blessed by your presence. Welcome home.
I'd like to say something.
Yes.
I am Queen Mother Blakely. I'm the community mayor of Harlem. I am the ambassador of goodwill to Africa. And I've been involved with the world community of the United Nations as a humanitarian for 54 years. I am the hip hop Queen Mother. Going over the age of 81 years old. I am here in your community for a reason and a season. Coming to be with our auntie, Maria, for healing retreat since Friday. Leaving the United Nations, the devastation none of us have control of, but the divine one that you spoke of this morning, and the love at Turkish House. You know, there was an earthquake, and Syria, the two countries. But on Friday, we went to pray, and you mentioned the high holy ascension of the Prophet Muhammad took place here in this space energy for me, which was all night Friday to Saturday. So the world was praying beyond the prayer of deliverance that we have shared with Queen Mother this morning. I would like to leave with this spiritual journey of you welcoming Queen Mother at this time. As I travel the world and doing the pandemic, I was flying almost alone ministry which you've spoken for yourself and the class, first class speech. And during the pandemic, the Creator had me flying alone. Most of the planes were empty, so I knew how you felt. But it was in divine order for us to fly at the time that we must fly. And I want to leave with you doing this healing for me. Stay on the sacred path of life and don't get off of it. Thank you for your love that you're sharing. For what we say, me, myself, and I. And it goes out to all of us. I thank you for embracing Queen Mother with your spiritual love and request of healing and loving all as one. Queen Mother would say, Ashe, 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 which is amen, so be it in the culture of Mother Africa. And I thank you as the Queen Mother.
Thank you for that. And with the congregation, I would just like to say welcome. And we are blessed in your presence. And for your work also that comes from your heart.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. I want to also tell you that this congregation, we do prayer every day on Zoom. And on Friday, this holy day that you spoke of, a gentleman came to us from Turkey in the moment on this Zoom call. And he shared with us that it was Miraj. That was the day that he called it, which is when Muhammad meets Allah and they become one. Yes, that's what he was explaining to me, the ascension of Muhammad to Allah. Yeah. And the only two other people on the call were Kathy Miller, who's one of our practitioners, and myself on Friday. And we had the most magnificent prayer with this man. And he is now a member of our community. And you will see him more, and he will join us. And he is currently in the process of looking for his visa to be accepted to come to the United States as a student. So we are holding this young man, and such a powerful, thank you so much for bringing this energy in. And so this congregation could know that he found his way to us through a Google thing that Marlene does called Meetup, that he found in Turkey. And we prayed for Turkey and Syria and the Ascension Day, and all of this beauty came together in this call. And as many of you know, we don't take those calls, so it's Stardust. And just know you're a part of this. So we connected, they found us, this loving found us again this morning, which is just such a pillar of light. Thank you for the pillar of light that you are. Yes, and everyone acknowledge yourselves for what you're doing, how you're showing up, that this community is pulling in this kind of experience for itself to grow and become even more expansive in the expression to the world of your love. From this tiny little place in a small town in New Jersey, we are one. All right, we are one. And thank you again. Bless you for being here with us this morning. And thank you for bringing. Marty. So Marty is representing the Season for Nonviolence for us this morning, in the United Nations, and he will give you a short commentary on what is happening. And it's
Thank you. Wow, that's a hard act to follow. I'm so glad for your presence and for your spirit. Wow, that really speaks powerfully. So today marks the end of the third week of our season for peace and nonviolence. And so the question I have for you and for me is, how does homelessness or being unhoused relate to our season for peace and nonviolence? Let's think about that for a minute. Okay. So it's a question I've been pondering for several days since we decided this would be our topic for this week. So I did a bit of research on the internet, thank goodness for the internet. And one of the things I became acquainted with is the fact that there are several words now used that were not familiar to me. Perhaps these are new to you as well. Things like houseless, unhoused, and unsheltered. So if you're interested in finding out more about what the distinctions are between these different terms, you can go to a website that I identified and how appropriately named. It's called invisiblepeople.tv. So you may want to check it out. Okay, it'll probably not surprise you that the unhoused people suffer violence at a much greater rate than the average person. And that often takes the form of physical violence or robbery, sometimes sexual violence or abuse. And it particularly affects older people and also youngsters. A lot of youngsters who are runaways have a very difficult time in their lives as a result of being in that circumstance. So many people look on the unhoused as throwaway people, not recognizing that each person has a story, and that most people have experienced one or more traumatic incidents in their lives. It might be loss of a job, it might be a breakup of a relationship, it might be as a result of a mental circumstance, it might be the fact that it's a veteran returning home and just can't find their place in society after being involved in, PTSD type situations, perhaps abroad, perhaps even just here in the States. Also, it could be refugees. And one of the things that we're experiencing right now is a greater refugee crisis than ever before in history. You may be familiar with some of the different refugee camps around the world and things that are happening in Africa particularly, and also in Ukraine, where many people are leaving their homes because of the war going on there. So it's really a problem. So one of the things I discovered, and was not a big surprise to me, is that the unhoused people typically live significantly shorter lives than the average person, sometimes as much as 20 or 30 years shorter. So often it's because of the extreme heat in the summer, or the extreme cold in the winter, or the fact that they can't even have access to some basic things that we all take for granted. Things like fresh water, being able to use a bathroom or a shower when they need to, or having clean clothes to wear.
Because it is today. And so thank you for your patience while Zoom gets better. Thank you, Zoom, for your patience while it gets better. Wayne, my husband, is still in California monitoring and helping from there. And yeah, so we have a lot of stuff going on, but please be patient with us because it's getting cooler and better and nicer and stronger. So you heard from Marty all the things that are happening. If you read your newsletter, all these things will be in your newsletter, so we won't have to tell you all of them. I want you to know that I'm teaching a class that's starting this week. It's going to be in Zoom or in person or on Zoom, depending on what your preference is. I will be in person. And when you register, we will tell you where exactly that's going to be. It's going to be close by. And the class is about how do we walk in love, and all our questions about that. And they can come up as prayers, they can come up as concerns, they can come up as frustrations. I hear you say that on Sunday. I feel great when I walk out and I can't keep it going for more than 10 minutes and I'm back in what hurts me and what bothers me. So bring it. Bring your questions, your ideas, your thoughts, your consternations, your frustrations, your spiritual aspirations, because when we go there together, we can find our way home. And we all, are finding our way home. None of us have achieved the highest level of ascension that we are not still walking home with each other. So we do that, and we know that all the great teachers of the world lived amongst us for a great long time, and each of you are one of those. So please come and visit. Next Saturday, we really want to make sure, the class starts this week. So if you're going to join, it's a 6-week class and it will close. And then we will, possibly in the future run another one. But if you are going to come, you need to join this week. Date and time, thank you. It will be Wednesday nights, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern, no matter where you are or where I am. And I intend to be here, I believe, for all those classes. So thank you, yes, for asking. And we believe it's going to be, we have a nice group of students now, and we believe it's going to be a great class. So if you're interested or curious, please come join us. And then this Saturday coming up, and so we want you to know now, this Saturday coming up, we actually have a free workshop. It's a prayer workshop, and it's here for you. It was given as a gift to CCL, and you guys, we're going to be in person in New Jersey in that prayer workshop. A few of you have signed up. We'd love to have all of you there to take advantage of a free prayer workshop. He's going to talk about this from a place of prayer as communion with the divine. So it's a self-inquiry, again, more of this same conversation, but to get to spend a few hours together and just kind of mellow into the space and think about the full expression of your holiness is really a beautiful thing to do. And start there, and we'll go from there. So let's see if there's anything else. I would love for you all to read in your newsletter all of the other things that are happening. The one other thing that I will let you know as a teaser is we will begin collecting plastic film bags. Again, the details of which I will not tell you today, but that is also for your consumption or not, or something. So please, 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 please read your newsletter. There's so much great stuff in there. All the links work. You can click and join a class, and we are here for you and want you to enjoy this experience. So Jane.
Some people have signed up for your class in the back. Does that constitute signing up?
You can rest assured if your name is in the back that I will take that with me today, and we will reach out to you if you have not heard from us yet and make sure all registration is handled. So please do sign up in the back. If you are interested in doing that today, we will take care of that. And it may be until tomorrow or the next day that you hear from us, but we will get to you. Okay? So all of this in the field of love, all of this, whatever crunchy, bumpy things, like even when you hate announcements and things like that might come up for you. Ready? Everybody? 1, 2, 3. Here we are. Okay, and we are going to invite Ginger. Thank you very much.
Yeah, everybody in a circle.
Yes.
Also, I would just like to say that I finally have, my album is coming out on Friday, the 24th. It'll be available on all streaming platforms, and it has CDs and USB cards for $15 each. If you'd like one, if you don't have a CD player in your car, you can just put one of these into your USB port and play it. So thank you for supporting me in that journey of higher frequency.
Yes, yes. Everybody would come join us. Jude? Everybody would join us in our circle.
Yeah, we may have to get closer.
If you could see that we need to come a little closer, that would be great.
Got it.
So we're going to start with we let the love wash over us, we let it be, and then we're going to change the word to peace, joy, and back to love. We let the love wash over us. We let it be the peace.
thanks for this life that we live, giving thanks for the support, for the love of Spirit, for every step we take, for every breath that we take, giving thanks for all the good and more good of God that is ours in every single moment. Giving thanks for the givingness of Spirit. Giving thanks for this community. Giving thanks for being together and sharing and loving and remembering the magnificence of who we are and who everyone is. Giving thanks for looking in the mirror and seeing Spirit right there. Giving thanks for this infinite possibility in life. Giving thanks for knowing our thoughts are creative. Giving thanks for all God's joys and pleasures and commitment to us. Knowing that we are the beloved of the beloved. Giving thanks for every moment of every day that we have this beautiful life. And together we say, and so it is. So my favorite prayer, are you ready? Something wonderful is happening to me right now. It is this thing called life. It is this thing called life. Life is in my body. Life is in my mind. Life is in my feelings. Life is in all my activities. And receive it. I share it. I am it. And I accept it just the way that it is. Thank you, life. And accepting all these gifts, we say, yeah.
Reverend Coyle is reminding you, you've been playing today.